Whoa, Athletor Podcast. Perfect timing, by the way. I just signed on. I was having technical difficulties. And we have Shane Griffith here with us. Thank you so much for coming on, brother.
Yep. Thanks for having me.
Okay. It's been a long time since Jersey, man. It has
Yeah.
been, I can remember you as a wee lad in the Bergen Catholic room. And tell me, I don't know that a lot of people really know your kind of origin story. How, how did you first kind of fall in love with this sport?
Yeah. I was about 3 or 4. I was really young when I started. But Fred Flushy, my one of my close friends, Leo, in time in pre-K, we hung out a bunch, and his dad coached Old Japan's like um youth classes. What do you call them? Youth, I don't know.
Yeah, just like Little
Region.
League or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after pre-K, my parents were working sometimes, so I would go hang out with his dad and him at the wrestling room. And for the first year or two, we just played football or basketball on the side. Like we weren't really wrestling. And then I just slowly got into it. I guess some days we went and practiced, other days we just did whatever we wanted. So that's how I got into it. And then from there, I ended up just wrestling for our rec team, started going into clubs and seeing how good I could really get at wrestling.
When
So
was that? Like at what age was that? Because this is important to me, right? Because what one of the things that we're trying to do is give, if not all parents, but like some parents, an idea or a roadmap to success through this sport. And the roadmap is not set in stone, right? This is not like the end all be all way to do things, but there are some similarities in like your story, my son's story, other kids' stories in this sport. So at what age did you start like taking it a little bit more seriously, going to a club?
for first, second grade,
Oh
we
my
just
gosh, that's
yeah,
not what I expect to hear.
yeah, no, I was really early, probably second grade, because I was wrestling and I was doing it for fun, but I was small and honestly not that good at the time. I mean, I know
Mm,
we're talking like what, 6 years old or
yeah,
whatever, but yeah, I would just go to tournaments and I would wrestle in multiple divisions, multiple weights, and my dad was kind of a firm believer that like kids don't never get tired, and I didn't. It was just great. I just wanted to wrestle and have fun and whatever that might be. So sometimes I forget what they were back then, bantam, like midget, novice,
sure,
whatever they are.
whatever, yeah.
Yeah. I would wrestle in 2, 3 divisions, wrestle up a weight class. So I'd wrestle, come off the mat, go to like the next mat, wrestle the next weight up or whatever. But that's how I got into it. And I started going at the time, it was a small little dungeon room of Apex with Damian Logan, Dane Tabano, Eric Norgard, a bunch of those guys. And familiar foe, Nick Soriano was there. So I've known Nick my whole life. And he was my main training partner growing up and when I was that young. And I give him so much credit for my development, even though it was hell sometimes and it sucked because that kid was always been an animal and crazy and good. So, but it was good for me and I needed that whether I liked
And
it or
handsome, by the way, and handsome.
oh, Handsome Tuesdays. I love those. Um, but yeah, I give him a lot of credit for my development because it was weird. I always say the hardest worker I knew, and that was instilled in him, I think by himself from a very young age. And obviously he had great parents and supporting cast and whatnot, but you saw the hunger in that kid's eyes from
Yeah,
day one. And it didn't matter if we were 5 or 6, like he was coming for something all the
yeah.
time. So I give him so much credit for my development. From there, just I went to different clubs too. I went to the Edge a lot in middle school and high school, but that's how I got into it. And I won my first state title in second grade. So what we're talking about when I kind of started going to clubs. So I was like, maybe I could be good at this.